put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to Youth Wednesdays here on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We're joining you live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago, and of course, it's the middle of the week, and we're here to give you that youthful vibe to take you through the rest of the week. My name is Kaylee Lewis.
Right, and my name is Dwayne Nurse. Good morning and welcome to Youth Wednesdays. It's a pleasure to always be here every Wednesday to give you that youthful vigor and to be a part of this, great team of youths, bringing the news in 90 seconds, bringing all the banter, bringing all the interviews. It's such a pleasure, and I want to shout out all of special viewers on the various platforms on which you're viewing us this morning: Facebook, YouTube, Channel 102 on Ampere, and all the various other platforms. Good morning, and to our most ardent viewers on the Facebook who will be sharing the live all the time, good morning. My name is Dwayne, and I'm also joined with...
Hi, good morning everyone. Good morning Dwayne, good morning Kaylee. Happy to join you for the youthful vibe and vigor that we bring to our audience every Wednesdays for Youth Wednesdays.
Yes. There has been quite a lot happening in this space, guys. Quite unfortunate, and I know many of you would have seen the video circulating regarding the incident at the Signal Hill Secondary School. Was it yesterday? I want to begin by, before you guys share your thoughts on it, by saying, it's sad, but it is not surprising. We live in an era where a lot has happened to our youth, so much so that they have, I don't want to say that they have no choice but to behave in this manner, but I think there's no other way that I can term it at this time. It's quite unfortunate. I do hope, however, that the school uses it as an opportunity to have some sort of intervention for the youth for what occurred in the school yesterday. What are your thoughts?
I want to agree with you by saying that it's not surprising. It's definitely an unfortunate situation, but I think that kind of behavior, there's really no explanation for that. I think that was definitely outrageous.
Yeah. And I also too want to add that parents send their children to school believing that the teachers have sole responsibility for how children behave at school, but 10 years ago versus now is not the same.
True.
And I want to urge parents, while you might be very well good at raising your child, there's a need for a more intimate relationship at school where children are concerned.
We have to think about the psychological aspect of it as well. A lot of students are coming to school from home with a lot of issues, a lot of problems and worries, and the ratio of guidance officers to students, it's really doesn't work at all.
It's a multifaceted issue.
So, I mean, we need to do something about that in terms of letting students have better access to the guidance counselors. That is, because we have guidance counselors at school, but when I went to school, I can't say how many times I actually visited the guidance counselor's office, how many times I had an actual session. So, you probably need to schedule sessions with students and that kind of thing, because
certainly.
In addition, I think it's also teamwork with the teachers as well as the guidance counselors. I think they should form more relationships, closer relationships with the students, get to know them a little bit better, so that when things like this occur, they are able to actually have conversations and get to the bottom of the problem.
Yeah, but in this case, it was the entire classroom against one young lady. So
I would definitely like to know the backstory, because
definitely.
Yes. But what story could really warrant such a behavior?
Sure.
But nonetheless, we can ventilate this issue all morning. However, we have to go over to news in 90 seconds with Miss Natalia Nancis.
Thank you, Dwayne and Kaylee. Here's your news in 90 seconds. So Wednesday, 29th November 2023, brought to you by B-Mobile. It's a Christmas season with B-Mobile. The Secretary of Education, Research and Technology, Zorisha Hackett, expresses profound disappointment over a disturbing video showing a class assaulting a female student. Condemning the violence, the Secretary calls for a comprehensive investigation involving school officials, parents, law enforcement, and stakeholders. She noted that swift measures will be taken to address the incident and prevent future occurrences. Recognizing the broader impact of school violence, the Secretary emphasizes addressing its psychological roots and implementing preventative measures, including education on recognizing aggression signs and fostering empathy. Chief Secretary Farley Augustine is urging Tobagonians to vote on a design for the renovation of the Assembly Legislature building. There are 3 options, all of which include the current historical structure incorporated into modern designs. Speaking at a town hall meeting in Lowlands last night, Augustine explained that the current nature of the Assembly has surpassed the capacity of the physical structure of the Assembly Legislature, resulting in the need for expanded space. The designs and the portal for voting are available on EDCUT's website. The Public Services Association has filed an appeal against the High Court judgment on the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority, seeking an injunction to halt implementation until the appeal is heard. The PSA contends the need to maintain the status quo, preserving public officers in the Board of Inland Revenue and the Customs and Excise Division. The lawsuit challenges specific sections of the TTRA legislation as unconstitutional, arguing interference with employment terms and conditions. The PSA urges the government to respect workers' rights and extend the deadline, emphasizing the case's constitutional and public importance. And this was your news in 90 seconds, brought to you by B-Mobile. It's the Christmas season with B-Mobile.
This Christmas we celebrating, cause B-Mobile they coming with rating. So brace yourself for plenty prices, cause this season will be the nice. It's the most deals and the most vibes and the most cars and the most price. The most giveaways, the most parade. Having a Christmas season with B-Mobile. I want a Christmas season with B-Mobile. Bring the sorry let we toast to a Merry Christmas. Having a Christmas season with B-Mobile.
Top up, buy a plan, sign up or pay your bills. Enjoy the best Trinbago Christmas. B-Mobile. Life is on.
All right, welcome back. Thank you for news in 90 seconds, Miss Nancy. We want to go over to birthdays this morning, and we have quite a few birthdays for you this morning. First on our list, we have Keisha Sandy, beautiful smile, known personally from back in the day school. Happy birthday goes out to you from the Tobago Updates family. And who do we have next?
Next on our list, we have Miss Brittany Johnson. Happy birthday to you, Miss Johnson, from the Tobago Updates family. Really hope that you have an amazing day today.
All right.
Happy birthday to loyal viewer Miss Suzette James Stewart from Julian and the Tobago Updates family.
All right. And to Mr. Keyshawn Julian, happy birthday goes out to you. He is one of our renowned panelists on the island. Happy birthday goes out to you. And next,
birthday greeting goes out to a good friend and sister, Tanessa Lawrence from Julian Ria and the Tobago Updates family.
All right. So that does it for birthdays this morning. Kaylee, do you want to give us the rundown this morning? You do it so beautifully.
Oh, I think you should give the rundown this morning.
You want me to give the rundown this morning?
Yes, I do.
Wow. Right, no problem. This morning we have 3 interviews for you this morning. To discuss the annual Christmas hamper distribution, we have Miss Simpson and Miss Roberts, and Miss Lewis will be conducting that interview. And following that interview, to discuss the Let Communities Lead, they're leading the World AIDS Day 2023. We have Mr. Mitchell and Mr. Fraser. Yours truly will be conducting that interview. And finally, we have raising funds for medical expenses. To discuss that is Mr. Wilson and Miss Natalia Nancis will be conducting that interview. today. That is our rundown for this morning. Please stay tuned and remember to
share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
This Christmas, speed is on us. Get up to 300 megabits per second of speed with our new Link Up Plus plan. Enjoy more speed, more channels, and free streaming for less. Plus, introducing Link Up More with up to 1 gig download speed. Download, stream, video calls, share memes, and more. Get free installation when you sign up in-store or online today at discoverflow.co.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
So your car break down.
Oh, no, not again.
And you're worried paying a wrecker could mean a pocket breakdown too. But when you're insured with Tatil, no stress.
Yes!
A Tatil motor policy has lots of benefits that protect your pocket, like free roadside assistance. That's free 24/7 every time, as many times as you need. Tatil, where people are people. A member of the Ansa McCall Group.
Welcome to Standard, and today we're launching High. It's our newest brand that Standard is launching, and it's where luxury meets affordability. We're very proud of this brand. It's taken some time to get the right collection in place, and we're also going to continue to improve on our collection as time goes by and we listen to our customers more. We've changed our suppliers for this collection to European suppliers, so you're going to get that European finish. We've been very pleased by some of the results that we've been seeing in terms and response to it in the market, and we're so glad to bring it to Tobago and show Tobago what Standard could, grow with them as well.
It's not just about looking good or having materials that are easily cleaned or sustainable materials, because the important thing about this particular collection is that it is quality. It is meant to last, and it lives up to the Standard name about never beating on quality and price. This furniture particularly, especially our outdoor line, which ranges from fiberglass, plastic types of outdoor stools, outdoor chairs, even the outdoor furniture, it is built to last.
That's the importance with High, right? It's not only looking good, it's going to feature things that make your life easier, and it's not too damaging on your pocket. That's important for us.
This furniture fits the lifestyle of Tobago, of the Tobago customer, of the Tobago guest. It is the perfect type of furniture for you.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back. It's Youth Wednesdays here on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. And this morning we're chatting with Miss Denisha Roberts and Miss Clavia Simpson of the Rotaract Club of Tobago and the Interact Club of Southwest Tobago. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Okay, so let's start off by you telling us a little bit about yourselves.
So, we'll go with the younger club first.
Yes.
I am the president of the Interact Club of Southwest Tobago, which is a Rotary Southwest sponsored club. And we are basically focused on that service above self for teens ages 18 to 12. And we focus on community development and membership development. And it's just a great avenue for people to do volunteer work and just to build a better self and a better Tobago.
Okay, so my name is Denisha Roberts. I'm the president of the Rotaract Club of Tobago. So we are similar to Interact. We are focused on community service, professional development, member development, same thing. As well, we are from 18 till. All right, so we are right after Interact. So as soon as you leave Interact, you jump right over into Rotaract. Yeah.
So I'm hearing Interact, Rotaract, and Rotary.
Yes, that's all.
Three different things. So you want to explain to the viewers a little bit what the difference is? I mean, we know the difference between Interact and Rotaract, but Interact, Rotaract, Rotary, what is the?
I mainly would say the difference is our age. Because we mainly do the same thing. We do community service, we do professional development, we build camaraderie, we do all of those things, but I would think that the main difference would be our age.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have the school-based ones, well, community-based ones, where they start from 12 to 18, and we are from 18 till. Rotary is the same thing. You can't be 18 now. They changed that rule. So Rotary is the same. Yeah. Just different dues, different money to pay.
But I would think the entire Rotary umbrella in itself is a family.
Yes.
So we'll almost think of Rotary as our parents.
Yeah.
And then Rotaract would be our big brothers and our big sisters. And then Interact, we are the little children.
Okay.
So it is really based on age, and we really do the same things.
Yeah, we do the same things, yeah.
And there are so many youth organizations across the island of Tobago. What makes Interact and Rotaract different? Why should persons join Interact or Rotaract as opposed to whatever other organization they can join?
Well, the thing about Interact is it's not focused on one organization or focused on one area. Interact is for the entirety of Tobago. And when we see a problem or we see something that youths are struggling in or we see something that is hindering the community, we go for it. And we give our members as many opportunities as possible. Actually, we have 60+ members from all over Tobago. Even though we are called Interact Southwest Tobago, we have them from all over Tobago. And it really gives the youths the opportunity to do good. A lot of people want to do good, but they don't know where to start. The Interact Club, the Rotaract Club, and the Rotary Club, beautiful places to start. So giving people that opportunity, I must say, is what makes us different.
As well as we are also in an international organization. So not only we focus in Tobago, well, we are in Tobago, so we'll be focused here in Tobago, but there's many opportunities outside of Tobago, regionally, internationally. So it's a good way to network within persons. I know people within, say, the media field, you might know a lot of persons in Tobago, but what about Barbados? What about St. Kitts? What about Suriname or Sri Lanka? You know, think wider, because we have friends all over the world within the Rotary International family. Yeah, so it's a good networking organization as well.
We're talking so much about community service and volunteer work and doing things for persons. What are some of the things that Interact or Rotaract has done so far, you know, for the year or even before?
Well, most recently, we did our beautification drive where we went to various primary schools throughout Tobago. So parents, children, if you're out there and you're just looking around your primary school and you realize, hey, that's a gorgeous painted playground. The Interact Club of Southwest Tobago did that for you, honeys. So basically what we did different designs on the ground. So different painted projects like hopscotch and moral and even some new updated ones, some more modern ones. We added to primary schools such as Scarborough Methodist and Signal Hill. So when you walk around there, the children have something to do, something to play, and we're really losing those essence of the old time games. So we're trying to bring that back into the school system. So that's one of the most recent projects.
Yeah, one of the most recent projects for Rotaract would also be a beautification project where we did murals, anti-bullying murals, to highlight the issue within schools. We did it at Plymouth Anglican and Blackrock Government Primary School. So those out there, you would see the murals, and we also share those things on our social media. We also do our back to school drive, which is an annual project. So those are some community service projects that we focus on right now.
And your experience as an interactor and a Rotaractor so far. I mean, before president, because I know that president is a lot of work. But before president, as president, what has the experience been like being a part of the Rotary International family?
The truth is, being an interactor before the stress of president, being an interactor is so much fun. It's just that experience that you get, that networking, those long-lasting friendships. I met you in Interact. So those long-lasting friendships is really what made me enjoy Interact so much. And you get to do good while having fun. That mesh was amazing for me, and I just never left it.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with President Clavia here. I feel like within Rotaract we are a little family. So aside from our community service, our theme, right, our Rotary International team will be service, fellowship through service. So we do a lot of that fellowship aspect. So I feel like whenever I want to talk about something, I could hit up Kaylee or I could hit up any member, and we have that connection and that bond. So it's like a little family outside of your own immediate family.
All right, and the annual hamper distribution. Let's start with Clavia telling the viewers a little bit about what it is, things that you all need, and that kind of thing.
Yes, so the Interact Club of Southwest Tobago, we have an annual Christmas hamper drive, and we do this, well, obviously every year. And what we try to do, we try to increase the number of hampers that we give out to families in need. So the Interact Club, obviously with partnership from our Rotary and Rotaract clubs, we come together and we purchase different food items, and we ask interactors, we ask Rotarians, we ask Rotaractors to all come together, donate what you can, and also the public to donate what you can, and we give these hampers to those in need. So we ask people for the different items, different grocery items. We also ask people for people who are in need, monetary contributions, anything that you could give so that we can give back to those who need it.
And Denisha, this year Rotaract is partnering with Interact to take a different spin on the hamper distribution. Tell the viewers about that.
Right, so with additional to the hamper distribution, we are doing the toy aspect of it. It's Christmas, children are expecting their toys and their nice snacks and all of that. So we are putting that towards their Christmas hamper drive. We are adding the toys aspect of it, and we are also donating party bags to the children at their homes.
Okay. And I don't think I'm seeing any contact here. Well, probably we could use the Instagram. But if viewers has to reach out to either of you, so probably somebody wants to contribute something, a monetary contribution, probably some food items or toys for the kids, how can they do that?
Well, via the Instagram pages, Interact, SW Tobago, that's on Instagram, or you can call myself at 466-9252. If you even want to join the Interact Club, this image on your screen right here, you just scan that QR code on the bottom there, and you can join the Interact Club, and you can contact us via our WhatsApp group, or via our Instagram page, or our Gmail.
And if persons want to join Rotaract,
Rotaract, okay, so we are similar. You could find us on our social media, which is Tobago Rotaract on Instagram or Rotaract Club of Tobago on Facebook. You can personally contact me at 743-2271. Also, with regards to if you're interested in donating, we are setting up a donation box at the Scarborough Library in the adult section. So that's another avenue for donating items.
Wonderful. All right, well, thank you all so much for coming and chatting with us this morning about the hamper distribution joined with Rotaract and Interact Club of Southwest Tobago and Rotaract Club of Tobago. I mean, it's kind of crazy that I would get that wrong. But also shout out to the Rotary Club of Tobago and the Rotary Club of Southwest Tobago. Those are the sponsor clubs for these two clubs that we have with us here this morning. So we must give a huge shout out to them for all the hard work that they have been doing.
Yes.
Okay, definitely, yes. All right, well, viewers, we're going to take a short break and we are going to be back. So remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Best fiber, surfboard channel switch to Amplia. Thousands in prizes, plenty smart TVs, 1 year free service and free groceries. We suffering with Amplia. We winning with Amplia. We been with Amplia. for 50% off plus a chance to win over $100,000 in prizes. Call 800-4663.
The Division of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development has relocated its Crown Point office to Glen Road in Scarborough to better serve you, our clients. Our main office is located at the corner of Glen Road and Glen Road Branch Number 1, the building formerly occupied by Coastal. Our grant and electrical inspectorate services can be accessed at Number 2 Montessori Drive in Glen Road, Building 1 and 2.
Christmas we celebrating, cause B-Mobile they coming with rating. So brace yourself for plenty prices, cause this season will be your nice day. It's the most deals and the most vibes and the most cars and the most price, the most giveaways, the most para. Having a Christmas season with B-Mobile. I want a Christmas season with B-Mobile. Bring me sorry, let me toast to a Merry Christmas. Having a Christmas season with B-Mobile.
Top up, buy a plan, sign up or pay your bills. Enjoy the best Tobago Christmas. B-Mobile. Life is on.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We have you are viewing us live here in Portmore, Scarborough. This morning we want to continue the conversation, in fact, have the conversation around the World AIDS Day 2023. And to have that discussion this morning, we have the Tobago Youth Council representative, Mr. Darian Mitchell, and certainly no stranger to us this morning. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, and thank you for having me once again.
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. You seem to wear many hats, man. That's a very good thing. That's a very good thing.
Try to be as diverse as possible.
Nice, nice. Just tell us about yourself in relation to TYC. What is your position, in your portfolio rather, in TIC?
Okay, well, I'm the president of the Tobago Youth Council, and primarily we are an umbrella organization that usually deals with advocating for youth throughout the island of Tobago.
Right.
What they're trying to do also is form a national youth council that will be formed between Trinidad and Tobago, so a Trinidad and Tobago National Youth Council.
Yes.
So primarily our role will be advocating for youth of Trinidad and Tobago by extension going forward.
Yes. In our conversations earlier, you mentioned that you were nominated for some awards. You want to shed some light on that?
Well, it was through the Caribbean Regional Youth Council, and that would have been Chair for Excellence in Leadership, and nominated for the Outstanding Youth Council Representative. But I would have won the Chair for Leader in Excellence along with the representative from St. Lucia's Youth Council.
Oh, very good. Congratulations, man.
Thank you very much.
In relation to the World International AIDS Day, if I'm saying it correctly.
World AIDS Day.
World AIDS Day. Why is this important to TYC?
Primarily, well, let's start with the topic, the theme for this year, which is Let Communities Lead. Last year it was Equalize, and this year it's Let Communities Lead. And what NACC as well as other NGOs are currently doing is trying to get as much youths involved as possible to help break that stigma of HIV and AIDS throughout the Caribbean. We have goals that we're trying to achieve by 2030, and that is to decrease the amount of discrimination and stigma associated with HIV and AIDS throughout Trinidad and Tobago.
All right, all right. you know, you mentioned goals, and do you know of any, or one or two right now, in relation to those goals, if not?
So one goal is to have as much young persons, from our perspective, young persons know their status and be tested as possible. And the second one, we are currently working, as well as other NGOs and organizations, state organizations, we are working along with NACC, the National AIDS Coordinating Committee, to finalize the policy for AIDS in Trinidad and Tobago, HIV and AIDS.
All right. You guys have an initiative to help commemorate this day. You want to tell us more about that?
Okay, so we won't be celebrating the day alone, but we'll be doing it throughout the month. So we're going to be doing social media campaigns to help share as much information as possible through that social media platform to target that young person audience. So we'll be utilizing Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You can follow us at Tobago Youth Council. That'll be across the board. And you will be sharing as much information as possible. And what we also want to do is try to partner with other NGOs, so there's a saying, familiar face in a familiar space. So we'll be actually utilizing young persons throughout the island to help do these scenarios and the skits, etc., to share as much information as possible.
For those who might not know, tell us, when is World AIDS Day? What day is it really?
Well, it's the 1st of December annually. And funny enough, it's close to that time period of Tobago Day. So we have a lot of activities taking place from the 1st to the 4th of Tobago.
And that's really, that was my observation as well.
It's going to be a very active weekend this weekend.
So what is your perspective on AIDS as it relates to Tobago, especially from giving that you're a youth yourself? Do you believe that we are where we are in terms of testing, in terms of sensitizing the young persons? Tell us.
I don't think we are where we should be at this point in time, because I know a lot of young persons are scared to go and get tested because they're probably just generally scared, as well as confidentiality. A lot of persons feel like because Tobago is so small, once they go and get tested, if anything, people just automatically assume that you have something or whatever the case may be. So our goal and our aim is to kind of break that stigma and have much persons feel as comfortable as possible, because nothing is wrong with knowing your status, especially if you are that level of active. So knowing your status is very important, especially if you are changing partners. So I think that we really want more young persons to get comfortable knowing their status and being able to test themselves.
All right, and that's good, what about in the schools? You know, this topic is a very taboo topic still. And rightfully you said that there are a lot of, there's still a big stigma, especially with this. And I think it's not just limited to Tobago, it's a worldwide stigma. You know, at what age do you think it's a comfortable age to introduce this topic to school? Because, you know, we live in a traditional society where everybody is Christian, everybody have a religious belief, and nobody want to expose their partner to sex, the topic of sex too early. So they would say. What are your thoughts on that?
It all goes back to the morals and values of the parents, I would say. But to me personally, when we were in third form, they gave us as much information as possible because we had moral education. They brought in external persons and they did skits on stage for us and showed us, especially before Carnival. And to me, those things stuck with me for life. It encouraged us to know if you're being active, you need to go and get tested, use protection if you are, the best way to use the protection. So even if you aren't active at that point in time, it does give you that preventative measure so that you don't go and make a quote-unquote mistake that could probably affect your life going forward. So from my personal standpoint, I would say that the information should be shared and it should be out there, because it's the same way they could go on the internet now and attain that information. But I think if you have that conversation with them, so even if they do, because a lot of children hide and do whatever they have to do, you really can't stop the rain from falling sometimes.
The thing is, you said children, and you know, while you were giving your contribution, my thought was children are now having sex, not even double-digit children, meaning 10, 11 upwards, but children in the single digits are having sex. And you know, once you start to have sex, you know, definitely you can expose yourself to this thing. You know, what do you think the these NGOs and organizations like yourself can do. I mean, I know that you have this initiative, especially for that level, you know, that early level for students at that age to, you know, be more aware, but not so much overexpose them, you know.
I think you should do it in phases based on age. So you do certain campaigns towards that age group and that cohort without giving them as much or all the information as possible. And the older you get, the more information you start giving them, right? With younger persons, that's a very sensitive topic and that's very touchy because that's where the parents would primarily have to intervene and allow them to feel comfortable to say, okay, well, if somebody does this to you, you come and say that, or you tell them no, etc. And you start there and then you go up from there.
Yeah, and my last question in relation to the youth in today's world, where we praise, you know, they just say going in bareback. You know, they shy away from using the protection because it's a stripe on their wherever it is, right? What do you want to say to that youth who might be putting themselves at risk? You know, the importance of using protection, and there are plethora of protection or contraceptives that could help mitigate against HIV and AIDS.
I would always encourage persons to use protection. Well, the strongest level of protection is abstinence, but if you do want to venture out there, there are healthcare professionals that will be willing to guide you in terms of contraceptives, utilizing different levels of protection, both male and or female. So there is a variety and a lot of information out there on the internet. The same TikTok that we love to go on, that has a lot of information as well, YouTube. You can speak to persons within local community centers, not community centers, sorry, health centers, and they will give you all the information that is required. So I just say that all the information is out there, but is if you choose to utilize it, as well as if you are active, you could also get tested for free at the Tobago Health Promotional Clinic that is located where the old hospital was going up by Fort King George. Okay. You could go by Canaan Health Center as well as Scarborough Health Center on selected days. So what you could probably do is check out the Tobago Regional Health Authority's social media, and they will guide you accordingly as to what days they will be doing the testing as well.
Right, and before I go to my next question though, it's more of an admonition than a question. I do hope that TYC, along with its partner in relation to this topic, you know, also focus on, you know, those who might have already done tested and realize that they are positive, because a lot of the times we place a lot of emphasis on the prevention and the contraceptives and the protection, but I don't think we spend adequate time on those who are victims of this virus. You know, so my admonition is that I hope that this is incorporated in your initiatives and things, you know.
Well, it actually is a part of the policy, as well as it is something that is done continuously. They do provide psychosociological assistance for persons who are tested positive, as well as the friends and family of those around them. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, even if you test positive, it's not going to affect you alone.
Yes.
It's going to affect your partner, your friends, your family, so they try to share as much information as possible so that there's no stigma within the home space, because it's very difficult to be tested positive, and the persons you expect to give you that level of moral support are the ones that don't really understand what is taking place within your life.
Yes. So, you know, just want to rehash the initiative that TYC is having on the various social media platforms that people could definitely look out for in relation to when you guys are beginning the campaign for World AIDS Day.
Okay, so you can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Across the board, it's Tobago Youth Council, or you could search Youth Council Tobago.
Yes.
Right, it's very easy to find. You'll see the green logo, and then from there we'll be start posting as much information as possible.
Right, and just rehash again for those who might be interested in getting testing, where testing can be done. You know, I want to encourage our young people and our older young people, you know, to test regularly. It's important that you do so, especially if you're active. You know, so just tell them where.
So there is the Canaan Health Center, Backlet/Scarborough Health Center, as well as the Tobago Health Promotional Clinic. The Tobago Health Promotional Clinic is located where the old hospital is. That's by Fort King George going up there.
Right. Right, Mr. Darian Mitchell, I want to thank you for joining us this morning and continuing your youth work. Looking forward to see what's happening for World Health Day. Guys, this brings us to the end of my interview this morning. Up next, we have Natalia Nances and to interview Mr. Andy for the interview. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
This Christmas, speed is on us. Get up to 300 megabits per second of speed with our new Link Up Plus plan. Enjoy more speed, more channels, and free streaming for less. Plus, introducing Link Up More with up to 1 gig download speed. Download, stream, video call, share memes, and more. Get free installation when you sign up in-store or online today at discoverflow.co.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can't beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
Let me hear you. Ooh, alright, stop, Mickey. Hear what? You will not sing in the concert, right? We will leave it for the professionals. You see, December 2nd, Harman is having a concert. Here's the reason. You will pay your money and come. Because I know you're cheap, we have a package deal. Right? So you can bring your friends, bring your family, wherever, and you'll be entitled for the package deal. Or there's an early bird because I know you're real cheap. Yeah, so you can capitalize on the early bird. For those of us who are a little bougie, we have premium seating and so on. We get complimentary drinks, special parking, etc. Here, who in the concert? We have people like Kashi Wilson. We have, you like that? We have Divine Voices. We having a full band. And we having drama. Yeah, we having drama. So make sure you are there and watch till the end of the video for more information and tickets.
Pregnant? No.
Barry, why are you in here?
That can't be true.
No.
I never had sex. We never had sex? Oh. Nah, that had to be a mistake. Okay.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
And we're back here on our Youth Wednesdays at Tobago Updates here at Portmore Scarborough. We are joined with Miss Michelle Thomas and little Andy Liam Wilson. Good morning to you all. They're here to give us some information on some fundraising that they're doing. Yes, this is for Andy's surgery. Yes, so they're here to appeal to the village that is helping to raise this child to contribute to the surgery that has to be done. Okay, Andy, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? I mean, you're in uniform, so we see that you go to Signal Hill Secondary School. Anything else you want to tell us about yourself?
I like to draw and I like to play video games.
You like to draw, play video games, any favorite subject in school and stuff like that?
My favorite subject in school is math.
You like maths? that is a rare thing, but that's very nice. Mommy, a little bit about yourself. Don't be nervous. Come on.
I'm a caregiver. I take care of the elderly. And basically, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. I go to Lambo Estate Church.
And they are the ones that are assisting in this
Yes,
venture?
Lambo Estate Children Department and Community Services.
All right, thank you very much, Mommy. Short but sweet. Right, to give us a little bit of insight into the fundraiser that you all will be having, could you tell us a little bit of what is bowing of the tibia, because that is the condition that he has and you all are trying to gradually correct it. That's correct, yes?
Yes.
Right, so could you tell us a little bit about it?
Bowing of the tibia is his his left leg, and at birth he was born that way in that condition. His foot was bent up to his shin, and the doctors at the Scarborough General Hospital, they referred me to Princess Elizabeth in Trinidad for the orthopedic surgeon to take care of his foot.
Okay, so from birth till, well, at present, was it a one surgery at birth and then now one surgery again, or was it a progression
No,
of
it was
surgery?
because the first one was when he was 2 years old, and a couple years after that until 5 surgeries since, and the last one being at 2017.
Okay, all right, so does this hinder any of his daily activities? How does he go about his daily activities? Because you said it is the foot. Children love to play, they love to run. So did this hinder any of his daily activities, or was he able to work around it?
Yes, it hindered him a lot because sometimes he couldn't go out because most time he was in crutches on casts on his foot. And then after, problems like walking, because one foot is shorter, he have a limp, and he favor that left foot a lot, and most of the weight goes on the right foot, and so sometimes it's very difficult to do lots of different activities that is normal for the children.
Right, so the contact sports, the running up and down,
Yes,
stuff like
difficult,
that.
yeah.
Okay, all right, and the surgery would help to correct?
Yes, they're doing a corrective surgery. They're trying to see if they can do the procedure to lengthen his foot, and so he wouldn't have to wear the shoes with the raised sole anymore, and he wouldn't limp anymore. So hopefully that goes well.
All right. Okay, so I want to hear a little bit about the journey. You mentioned that it was a progression of surgeries, was it? I mean, I don't expect it to be an easy one, but how did you get through it, you know?
Well, I would say prayer and determination, and I really want to see him as a normal child. So I was determined. I'm going to Trinidad all the time, months and months into Trinidad, surgery after surgery. It was a long, long road, and by God's grace, prayer, lots of prayer, because you can't do it without God. So I really thank God for where he is right now, because it was tough.
And apart from the journey itself with surgeries and stuff like that, going to school and growing up, what was that journey like up until this day?
Going to school, 2017 particularly, he had a surgery. We were in Trinidad for 3 months because he had the surgery in June, and then July, for the whole month of July, 3 days a week, we're going to the hospital to do clinics and checkups and stuff like that. Then after the end of, we came back at the end of September. Went to school October. We had crutches on his crutches. He was walking with crutches, and he had the cast on his foot. And he was going to school, but the teachers were so accommodating and kind. They allowed him to walk with a stool to rest his foot on because he had to stretch his foot out. But going up to school, Women Lincoln School on the hill in Plymouth Road, everybody know where that school is. So you're going up on this steep hill. I used to go out in the morning, and I used to stand up on the bottom and pray, Lord Jesus, please help us to get a car to go up this hill. Because he walked with the crutches. And to go up this steep incline was a problem with the bag, and I used to take his bag. But so we used to get rides sometimes and go up, and we used to praise the Lord, and then coming back down in the evening, was problems. One time he fell down and his foot with the cast behind his back and one foot in front.
Oh my.
So I decided this is too much for him. So I decided to take him on my back and carry him from the top of the hill down to the bottom of the hill every single day.
Every single day?
Yeah, because it was too much for him.
So you did what you had to do
yes.
to get him to the bottom of the hill. Okay, all right, so we're going directly into the fundraiser. You gave us a little bit about what the surgery is for. It's correctional surgery.
Yes.
This is to correct the foot so that he can have a normal walking experience and the contact sports, etc., etc. So the goals for the fundraiser, what are the goals looking like? I don't know if you mind giving us the entire amount.
The entire amount for the surgery is $13,000 US, and I'm not a part of the concert planning. The aunties at the Lambo SDA Church, they decided, my son is part of the children department, and they decided that they want to help to contribute. So they decided to put on this concert to help raise funds in some way or the other, if it's for transport or accommodations, anything. They decide to do this concert as a fundraiser to contribute, which I'm very, very grateful for.
All right. And, okay, so you told me that you're having a concert, and it is part of the fundraising efforts for the surgery itself, right? And you said the total amount is $13,000, right?
Yes.
Any targets that we could help you meet, or is it just a straight shot towards the $13,000?
Well, I would say I wish it would be a straight shot, because we were supposed to do this surgery since August, but seeing that the funds are not available, I told the doctors in Cuba that we are trying to raise funds, and so they say as soon as funds are available, contact them. So we are hoping that funds will be available soon.
Yes, as you said, prayers.
Prayers, lots of prayers.
Of course, and our help as a community.
Yes.
So how can we donate? Where can we find the information, etc., etc.?
Donation can be made at the concert on Sunday, the 3rd of December at Good News SDA Church, or you can, the bank account information, there's an account at our Republic Bank. The information on the screen.
Yes, the information will be posted on the screen for those of you who would like to donate to this cause. Tobago Updates, you can contact them and get the information for the donations. Yes, and you can also contribute to their upcoming Christmas concert at Good News Seventh-day Adventist Church on the 3rd of December.
3:30 p.m.
3:30 p.m. They look forward to entertaining you. So bring your funds and bring yourself, of course, so that you can enjoy the concert. One more question before we wrap up. Besides the monetary contributions, is there any other way that people can offer assistance to you?
Yes, I would say prayers, lots of prayers, because prayer is very important in everything. And during his journey with this surgery, prayers been the forefront and the main help and assistance we get him, because God is so good and merciful. He brought him through a lot. He kept us until now, and we are very grateful, and we are just asking for lots of prayers.
All right. So thank you, Miss Michelle Thomas. Thank you, Andy Leon Wilson. A man of few words, but still a lovely smile. Thank you so much for being here with your mommy. We do wish you the best here at Tobago Updates in the endeavors, that the funds are raised and Andy's able to have his correctional surgery done in Cuba. Yes?
Thank you very much.
All right. So thank you so much again for being here. To our viewers who are still with us, we encourage you to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Hey, hello guys, welcome. Come have a seat.
Oh, this is so stylish, and I love the fabric.
Darlings, you must tell us where you got your new furnishings.
We got them locally at Standard. They've got new chic European furniture, crafted from high quality material.
Oh, Standard?
No, it's standard. Their brand new Hive collection.
Experience luxurious European furniture at a price you will love. The Hive Collection. Now exclusively available at Standard.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Your car break down.
Oh, no, not again.
And you're worried paying a wrecker could mean a pocket breakdown too. But when you're insured with Tatil, no stress.
Yes!
A Tatil motor policy has lots of benefits that protect your pocket, like free roadside assistance. That's free 24/7 every time, as many times as you need. Tatil, where people are people. A member of the Ansa McCall Group.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago of this morning show. Yes, I'm back here again. I know you guys thought I left, but I'm here still. We want to continue this discussion around Tobago Day, and what other better person to have this discussion with than none other than Miss Sophia Cooper, Programs Coordinator at the Tobago Legislature. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
You are no stranger to us here at Tobago Updates. We want to get right into it. Tobago Day, why is it important at such a time like this, and what is your role in helping in and around this day?
So let me start with the history. Tobago Day on December 4th marks the day the Tobago House of Assembly was inaugurated. So we're talking about, at that time, the president was Sir Ellis Clark.
Right.
And we're talking about something so momentous. It changed how things functioned in Tobago. We're talking about the THA Act in the sense that we have the 5th schedule that gave the Tobago House of Assembly devolved powers. And interestingly, I had a conversation yesterday that the person was talking about how from 1980, that's when we started seeing Tobago registering deeds. And then I had to point out that was because the Tobago House of Assembly Act was passed in 1980. And so even seeing how we interact with Trinidad, how that affected business and everyday life, it was because of the Tobago House of Assembly Act. And we can't forget Dr. Winston Murray and Mr. A.N.R. Robinson. Dr. Murray stayed in Parliament to ensure that the bill was passed. Now, Mr. Robinson, he wanted more. And people would tell it's a watered down version of the act. But what they did was they crafted something that could be used, and then it was modified in 1996, and we hope that that's going to again be modified recently. So the idea is to mark the inauguration of the Tobago House of Assembly. That was December 4th, 1980.
All right. And you know, this we have heard a lot of discussions around this Act 40 of 1996, which I think came after. There was an amendment, correct?
Correct.
Right.
The significant amendment is that it brought the THA Act in alignment with what democracy looks like when we talk about the Westminster model, meaning separation of powers. So when A&R Robinson was there, they had a chairman. You met at the Assembly Legislature or at the High Court at that time. And then you decide your committees, what they're going to do and so on. Mr. Robinson, though, he worked within the framework of the Act, and perhaps because he was an attorney, he was able to maneuver. Yes. Yes, people remember him as a statesman, but his background was in law. So what he did was he took this piece of legislation and he said, I know it's not what we need, but we're going to work within the framework to create what we can. And so by 1996, what Tobago had was proof of concept. You go back to Parliament. And it's not a discussion of who, what, where, when, maybe. It was as, we're already doing this. We have proof that we can do this and that we need it. So I don't know if it's a case where we know how to prove again, you know, within our limitations, that these are the things that would work, and then go from there.
Oh yes. And certainly we have been hearing a lot of discussions around the Tobago Autonomy Bill. You know, how does Tobago Day and its subsequent celebrations during its period would help, you know, foster that education to the population of Tobago?
Excellent.
Where that is concerned.
So the Tobago Day debate, which takes place tomorrow, 10 a.m. at the Assembly Chamber, Jerningham Street. The public is invited, as always. Young people will be discussing that question. Because when the motion was first laid by then Chief Secretary over London, it was about creating an atmosphere where Tobagonians could come together. We're talking about Family Day. We're talking about meeting to have an enjoyment, to beautify your communities. Those things were stated back then. And then we had Claudia Groom-Duke, leader of Assembly Business, laying a motion to rename Assembly Day Tobago Day, so that we have a reflection of what is intended. This is not intended to be a THA event. This is intended to be a Tobago event. And that's why there is the cleanup campaign on the health. So they are going into communities. That's why we have the cookout competition. And it's not just cookout competition, it's harvest food.
Yes, because
cookout.
Harvest is definitely our culture.
Exactly. You know, in the middle of that, you have some all-fours. You have a triathlon. Next day, you have Sports and Family Day, a military tattoo and Thanksgiving service on the 4th of December. So every day there's something from tomorrow to the 4th of December. And of course, culminating with the Chief Secretary Awards. So there's a lot to enjoy. And a lot for people to be a part of.
I mean, we have such a limited time to unpack what, you know, the history, the significance of this day, especially where we are and our trajectory in relation to this discussion of autonomy. What is your opinion on, you know, our status now as it relates to the autonomy? Especially the discussions that was had from since 2021. What is your take on it?
I think a lot of people have different definitions of autonomy. And different definitions of internal self-government. And I think that's where we need to start. So over the years, we've had a lot of conversations, a lot of committees, a lot of joint select committees from Parliament. But that's why we're having the Tobago Day debate. Because I feel like if it has to go across the board, all ages. And for us at the Assembly Legislature, we have a slogan, engage and educate at all levels. And so, for example, we're having the debate, but at the same time, we're having a vote for how the building should be expanded.
Oh, you're touching on my final question, man. Don't do me that. But it's all right. It's all right.
So we're talking about autonomy, and we're talking about Tobago's assembly legislature being the seat of democracy. Remember that building was constructed in 1825. It is the oldest legislative building in the country that's still functioning. And so there's a lot of pride connected to that. But we've outgrown the space.
Yes.
And so we want people to be part of the discussion because democracy is about people. Yes, we vote for politicians, but at the same time, we want participatory democracy, meaning members of the public must be part of this conversation.
Yes.
So we want to do something with the building, but we just don't want to put it up because this is your building too.
You know, I want to chime in on the whole autonomy and, you know, especially and related to the building. I long to see true Westminster. We know the true Westminster is in the UK, where it originates. You know, where we don't have to enshrine everything in our constitution to hold people to account, to have things running. We have things in the UK called the convention, which is somewhat unwritten laws.
I totally understand what you're saying. This is the difference. When independence was crafted, so we know Haiti fought for independence, but let's say it was crafted for some of us, right? Yes. It was done through something called an order in council. And so from the very beginning, the UK took the stance that these now independent former colonies would have a written way of determining how they will be designed. And so it's different, not because it isn't a true form of the Westminster model.
It's growing, it's getting there.
Not getting there, it is what it is because it suits our period in time. No, we didn't necessarily choose it, but it has evolved. Just like everything else in the Caribbean, you put several things in one space and it becomes something totally new. So what we have is 3 arms of government. That's a marker for the Westminster system. What we have in the Constitution is separation of powers. So that doctrine means you have the executive, in this case the Executive Council, you have the legislature, and of course we don't have control over the judiciary, but those are the 3 arms of government. And according to the Tobago House of Assembly Act, all those arms must be represented on the island. And that didn't happen before. Before the 1980 Tobago House of Assembly Act. Again, we're bringing it back to December 4th.
So, you know, we have a lot to celebrate, we have a lot to be grateful for and look forward to. And you mentioned the building. Now, I saw those concept designs and I was like, we're saying something. My favorite design is, I think was the second one that was shown.
Right.
I know that the Honorable Chief Secretary and others like the first design.
Right.
But for me, I like the second one because it's glass. You know, it's more sustainable. You know, it's modern. They're all modern. But for me, my favorite.
It was the second one for you.
Yeah. My question now is, what inspired, besides the fact that we have outgrown the space, what inspired this this idea to have these designs put forward to the space, especially at this time?
Right. So for the last 10 years consecutively, we've had the Tobago Day debates, and part of the training students receive is the study tour. So we visited a number of legislatures and parliaments with devolved powers, and we see how they treat their buildings. We see that they start off with something iconic like we have, but when they expanded, they added elements of modern styles. Our building is made out of limestone. We have to think about resources, what is available today. So there's a mix between traditional and modern. And so people are asked to vote on what they like with this mix. Some people might say, not really. And some people might say, well, you need to go back to the drawing board, but maybe this one is nice. So check our Facebook page, check us in person.
What is your Facebook page?
It's Tobago Legislature, Tobago House of Assembly Legislature on Facebook. Our website, tobagolegislature.org. You can come in person at the Assembly Legislature, in person at Shaw Park Complex, and put in your vote, any age.
All right. Leave it up to Ms. Cooper to give us a very concise, very, very detailed interview Just remember to vote. This is Tobago Day, and this is for your island. So, please participate in the voting process. And this is true democracy. I want to thank Ms. Cooper for joining us this morning. It's always a pleasure. This does end Youth Wednesdays on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Thank you for joining us, and remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. Have a great day.
It really will give the farmers of Tobago an opportunity for them to have their produce on display, right? So the people in Tobago will actually see what the farmers have been doing so far, right? So today is a great day for the farmers to have their produce out in the open so that the general public will come and view at it, and if possible purchase.
Specialize in doing wooden items, and like we have the cordless blender, the wooden one, the wire one, and we have all the wooden items like the dabbler. For those big outside cooking, we have the big wooden spoons. So I specialize in doing wooden items.
Well, we have okra, we have some lovely pumpkin, as you could see, as they mentioned, golden ray. We have coconut water both in the shell and in the bottle. We have juice also, as you could see, pomegranate, plus the guava, mixed pumpkin. We have plantain plus banana, and we have avocado plus plantain that you could plant. It will be here just now.
So you are the farmer?
I'm the farmer.
But you know so much about farming. How long have you been farming?
Well, I can at least say from the time I know myself, it's because I grew up with my grandmother, and this is where she put me to involve in agriculture. And like that is in my genes, because sometimes when I'm sleeping in the night, it's like I only seen for juice. So I really love it.
I didn't know about it. I just was passing by and somebody introduced me to it, and I came in and look, I get cassava, dashi, and all this kind of thing to go home and make a little soup. So I appreciate what I see taking place. I see that the agricultural development is really developing in Tobago. And I would like to see much more of this taking place, and I like to see it extend worldwide.
What juice tasting?
Very good. This is guava. It's guava juice.
We accompany people from the womb to the tomb with information that guides you through life. So if you are interested in starting your family, we have relationship books, including one like this one, The Language of Love. So you will learn how to communicate generally, but especially within your family relationship. We have on health, we have on child rearing. The farmers market gives us an opportunity to help folks to know how to use the things that they buy for good health. So that is why we are here.
Everything here is locally grown, organically grown, and if it's not grown, then it's produced, the byproducts of that which we grow from the soil.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Well, good morning, viewers and listeners, any part of the world you are. We're coming to you from the Tobago Updates Television, and this is the program Beneath the Surface, where we introduce and interview and chat with all the members of the Tobago House of Assembly, and we hope to have the opposition as well, the councillors, and of course we have today one of the main persons in the Tobago House of Assembly, the presiding officer, Miss Abby Taylor. Madam Presiding Officer, welcome to this very special occasion where I had the opportunity to interview you. I never interviewed a presiding officer before. Thousands of interviews I did, you know.
Good morning, Mr.
Well, it's really a pleasure for me.
Thanks for having me.
How things going?
Everything is good and all. Good. Gearing up for Christmas, you know. So it's nice.
I could well imagine. How do you feel as presiding officer?
Wow, that is a harsh question, because on one side I'm good because I'm getting the exposure, I'm getting to learn more about Tobago. We were just discussing that I have a background in history, so the legislature seems like a perfect fit for me because everything historical and everything Tobago I love to learn about. So on that end, it's good. On the other side, I am a mother. I'm a single mother of 3, so it's hard. Yes, it's hard balancing the
parenting too.
Yeah, it's hard balance. It's a balancing act between the 2 positions, but I'm weathering it quite well.
Yeah, and I think people having a lot of gaining a lot of respect from the general public in the way you handle things in a very professional and
thank you
real
so much.
Balanced manner, as you said. But tell us a little bit about your teenage years. We want to know what made you this person, charming, professional, and well balanced, and so on.
I think I owe that all to my upbringing. My mother, I was raised in a single parent home. My mother did a really good job with her 4 children. I am the last of 4.
I suspected that. I don't know why.
I am the last of 4 for my mother, the second to last for my deceased father. She really instilled in us that, you know, education is key. That was the theme throughout our household while growing up, and I think all now. She passed that on to her grandkids as well. If you don't have an education, you don't have a proper foundation. So for us, education was the way out. I mean, it was hard for her. We saw that, we went through it, we lived it with her.
And I think, siblings.
Yes, I think it made us better for today because...
Well, who was your mother? I wonder if it's somebody I know.
Probably. Her name is Catherine Elizabeth Smart. Good morning, Katos.
Yes, morning, Miss Smart. I'm sure you're enjoying this program. You will enjoy this program this morning, Miss Smart. And I believe I know the person, you know, but maybe... And where you live? Where you came from?
I'm from Marysville. I literally...
Oh my gosh, I represented that area. Maybe I know the lady quite well.
I was born and bred in Marysville. I was born on my grandmother's couch.
In
Marysville, yes. And I grew up there all my life. I only just moved like last year, so I spent 37 years of my life in the village. So yeah.
Oh, that's great. I remember when I entered politics, that was one of the contentious issues. The road to go up to Mary's Hill, boy. Oh, gosh, I tell you.
It's a work in progress.
Oh, Lord. You were too young to maybe remember what it looked like. But, you know, no drains on either side. And when rain fall, the drains just scatter all over that road going up the hill. And that was one of my first projects as an assemblyman.
Really?
To tackle. What?
I should
people
say
warned
thank you.
me, they said, we see the road fix.
I should say thank you for that.
Yeah, it was a real task, you know, because you had to put like drains on both sides, you know. And
because the village is very small.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's detail of upbringing and so on, but you were kind of spoiled being the last one?
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't want to say much, but I got disciplined very often. Well into my teenage years, because I think I was all... Looking back now, I am totally different to who I was when I was younger. I was a little bit more robust and outspoken. I remember all my teachers used to write in my report card, Abby's a good student, but she talks too much. She needs to settle down. And that went from primary school all the way through secondary school. And I think it's only when I became a mother I kind of settled myself. And I'm not as outspoken as people think I am.
But you come across as a kind of no-nonsense polite person at the same time.
Again,
nobody to advantage you.
Attitudes I have adopted from my mother. My mother was and still is that type of no-nonsense person. You go to Marisol and you ask me for me smart, they most likely would say the lady who don't smile, because she doesn't. She doesn't. She's very strict and adamant about how things are to be. So I think I got that from her.
So as a single parent, she really did well.
She did her best. I mean, according to her, she said she has 4 of the best. I tend to agree with her. My eldest brother is a double PhD holder. My second eldest, he is based in the States. My second eldest brother is a guidance counselor and he's a pastor. My eldest brother also in the States is a pastor. My sister is a midwife, and then there's me. Yeah,
and you're the historian and politician. Well, a politician in terms of presiding over a political entity, you know. But you really come across and I said, but this lady looks so outspoken, and she was saying, what kind of bringing up, as we say, brought up citizen lady had,
trust
you know?
me. We had to toe the line with Catos. Had to.
But you had farms or agricultural thing and so on. You didn't have much space for that up there, but you had a little backyard
Life
garden.
in Mary's Hill was and it's still very much communal. My grandmother was my best friend growing up. I loved that woman. Unfortunately, she passed when I was 16 or 17. I just remember her telling stories because we have a big family. The Smart family is a very big family. So I grew up with all my cousins and my siblings. So when Puns would cook, everybody would eat. She would tell stories. She would beat drums. We were part of the Baptist community at one point in time. So we just grew up in a big family-oriented village. Everybody
Your
knew each other.
grandfather used to work in works? Though.
He worked at Tiantec.
Or Tiantec?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I think he was one of those persons who were taking me around at the time, you know.
Probably.
Yeah.
Calvin Smart.
Well, he don't talk and show it too much, but he will
talker.
talk to you very straightforward. Yeah. You know, I think I remember Old Man Smart Man. I remember him quite well. But your responsibility, let's get to the THA now, and your responsibility as presiding officer, what that includes?
Well, other than the obvious, presiding over meetings, ensuring that that the standing orders are adhered to. I think I also have a duty of responsibility to Tobago as to ensure that, personally, that members of the public understand what good governance is. And I don't think that part has been really embellished prior. Probably it was, but we need to start seeing evidence of good governance here in Tobago. And I would hope that throughout my tenure, I would work assiduously hard to ensure that the next generation coming up or the next presiding officer continues in that same foot.
I'm very interested in that particular part because what you're interested in is teaching and let them see best practices and conduct and even
because we are not supposed to learn that from politicians. I don't think most of our politicians are the best example for good governance. However, we recently came back from our UK study tour to the Scottish Parliament, and it was so interesting that they have an education division or education department that deals specifically with educating not only students but their people as to how to go about being good people of Scotland, understanding how governance works exactly. And I think that's something that we would like to adopt here in
Tobago. Is a parliamentary
it was a parliament.
Or is this procedure of government?
No, the department, the education department, is within the parliament itself. So they go out and they reach out to their schools, and they start from early.
So it's not like a ministry, or it's just under the parliament?
No, it's within the Scottish Parliament itself.
The education ministry or system? They govern
that part of educating people where governance is concerned is within the parliament itself. Yeah, it is a part of the UK. The UK Parliament also has a wide education sector as well. just
But
teaching
that
and
specifically is dealing with governance and leadership
yes,
and
yeah,
that sort of thing.
So that's something that
As well.
correct, something that we here should impose on our people as well. Because as I said, it's not up to. I don't think it should be the job of a politician to teach how things is supposed to happen. You should
not the best example.
Well, I don't think so. In my honest opinion, I don't think so. But
you need to teach people.
You have to teach people how to become correct.
Or leaders.
When coming into it is not something that you have to. It's not an OJT kind of thing. You shouldn't be learning on the job. It's something that you should already know. And I think that's our responsibility, and I'm taking it on as my responsibility to carve out an education sector within the Assembly legislature that will not only teach good governance and best practice, but will also teach a history of our legislature.
And how you propose to tackle that? You'll tackle that from a primary school, secondary school?
So what we just had Miss Sophia Cooper, our Education and Outreach Program Coordinator, and she does an excellent job.
Oh, yes.
Excellent job. Excellent job of coming up with ideas. So she does.
She's part of your team?
Of course.
What is her position?
She is our, I don't want to mess up her name, but I call her our communication/education person, because she comes up with the ideas and we just we tag team, we just knock it out of the park. So as soon as she says, Miss Taylor, I think this would be a good idea, I will take to her, Sophia, what do you think about this? And she'll like, yeah, that sounds good. So one of the things that we have outside of the youth debate that is primarily targets teenagers, and for the most part, I think our teenagers are doing excellent. They're doing an excellent job where debates are concerned and understanding parliamentary protocol and practices and stuff like that. We also want to extend that to our primary school students, because of course, educating and engaging doesn't start midway. We have to start from the beginning. And I think if we...
So you're taking it to primary school?
Yeah. I think if we start curating our children from an early age to understand what happens later on in their life, they will have a better appreciation for it.
I think so. I like the idea. I like some of these ideas that you have. It's serious. But Stella, let's go back to the decorum in the house. Right. And again, that is learning and understanding how it works. What kind of decorum? I mean, I looked briefly at the standing orders, and there is a big thing. When I say an important thing, the decorum in the house, what you should do, how you should operate in the house. Well, things like you can't smoke, you can't, like Williams used to have hearing aid in the ears and reading the Guardian and so on in the early days of Trinidad Parliament, you know. But what is the real decorum? What is required of these members of the Tobago House of Assembly?
Well, the standing orders basically are guidelines, the rules to the house, how to behave, how to act, how not to act, what is allowed, what's not allowed. The standing orders are also subject to change, because over time things will change, things evolve. But basically, that's what it is. It's just the guidelines as to how to act and perform.
But the standing orders generally, they pick it out amidst parliamentary practice and these.
Correct. I mean, well, I am guessing that they would have had the foundation from other parliaments and stuff, because ours, and as chairman, as the standing orders committee, it needs some reform. I think it's a little bit too vague where things are concerned. We are silent on a lot of things, and where we are silent, we'll often look to the parliament for the answer. If not, we look outside. So yeah, it's a connection. It's a connection from England straight down to the Trinidad and Tobago Parliament.
Yeah. But these are evolving process.
It is.
And as you move along, you will see things that you need to change. So the standing orders need to be revisited from time to time.
Yes, and it will be. I am soon to call my committee to
You
order.
have not met us yet?
No. We are meeting in December.
But the committee comprised of you as chairperson
and 4 other members.
4 other members of the assembly.
Yes, of the members
and
of
they
the
could that could include councillors as well.
Of course, you must have a representative from the minority council.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that is good, and look forward to seeing that how it operates and so on. And I mean, good governance and good debating, quality of debate, you know, is extremely important.
Yes.
So how you control the house and how they speak and what they do when they speak, what will cause them to breach? Somebody make a comment. I see you pull up the chief secretary the other day and tell him to withdraw or to apologize.
Yeah.
Was it that?
I mean, well, there's this thing called parliamentary language. You can't call another member a liar or the person liar, and their standing order, I think what is the most famous standing order 44, you can't impute improper motives against a member. You would know all these things being a former member.
I was leader of assembly business
exactly.
at the time.
So it's things like that. I think when they get energized, they tend to forget that these things exist. So I kind of just pull in the reins a little bit. But the purpose of debate and debate is for it to be a healthy conversation. It's not for me to say you can't say that or what you can and cannot say. That's what debating is for. That's the premise of a debate, right?
But maybe you can't say what you want to say in a particular way.
Color within the lines. You can't go outside the box where these things are concerned.
So you can't call a person a liar, of course. You can't impute
improper
motives and so on. But what led to Watson Duke being escorted out? I was told that you didn't tell him to walk out. And I didn't tell the police to arrest him or anything.
I simply asked for him to leave.
What led to that?
Well, during a sitting, as you would know, I don't know if during your time they had the mic system set up. But when I went to, just a little bit backtracking, when I went to the UK Parliament, they have this thing called bobbing, where if during the session, if you want to catch the presiding officer's eye, they literally bob. They jump up like fish out of water and they bob, right? And whoever catches the presiding officer or the speaker of the house, they would allow them to have the floor. In our circumstance and according to our standing orders, that part remains the same. Whoever catches the presiding officer's eye.
Especially if you have more than one person.
Exactly. They would be allowed to have the floor to make their presentation or make a comment or whatever the case may be. In our case, we have advanced with technology. We have a mic system that all members have. So if you want to join the debate, you simply have to indicate by
press this button.
That was done by Assemblyman Clark. And that's when I said the chair recognizes Assemblyman Clark at the time, you may join the debate. I don't know where it went awry after that. But I think he felt as if I wasn't paying attention to him, and I don't think that was the case any at all. I followed the standing orders. Whoever caught my eye, and by this technology that we have in the house, Assemblyman Clark caught my eye with him indicating via the device, the micing system, that, he wanted to join the debates. There's also consensus that could be had with the leader of assembly business and the minority as to the speaking orders and stuff like that. But if that isn't made aware to me, I'm going with the technology that's there.
Yeah, whoever
right? Added to that, when I'm on my feet, everybody knows you're supposed to have a seat. So anything other than that would be challenging the chair.
So he challenged you, apparently, that you were discriminating? Or
I would never. All my members are my honorable members, and I see them as that. I would never discriminate one against the other. That's not how I preside over the house. It's just that Assemblyman Clark caught my eye at that time.
Okay.
It's unfortunate that he thought that's what happened, but that wasn't the case at all.
But there was a need for him to be escorted out based on that? Because he wasn't obnoxious or anything like that? I don't know.
Well,
I can't remember the details. I just wonder whether that was absolutely necessary to ask him to leave.
I think what persons need to understand is that, one, when I'm on my feet, you need to have a seat.
That's correct. That is true. And everybody should know that.
And everybody by now should know that. And that just did not happen.
Oh, I see. So he was in serious breach.
Yes. So
and disrespect.
I simply and for me, it's us setting an example and ensuring that the standing orders are followed. So that's basically the breakdown of what happened.
But is there sessions, especially in the beginning of this session of the assembly, the last 2 years or so, where at the beginning or before the thing actually started, in the early stages of this session, were there training sessions or people, when I say training, where you explain what are some of the things, particularly with respect to the standing orders?
Oh, yeah.
Because this is what's going to guide their debate and so on.
Remember, this is a fresh crop of members, myself included. I've never done this before. Some of the members, this is their first time. I think the only seasoned members in the House are Assemblyman Duke, Assemblyman Augustine, and Assemblyman B. Israel, right? Those are the only three.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody else is new to this. So it was mandatory, in my estimation, that we do training. And I think this is the first crop of members that has had so much training in any one session, because we liaise so much with the Parliament and the Clerk of the House in Trinidad, well, former Miss Sampson, and even now with Mr. Caesar, that we have our members trained in certain areas. Right off the bat, straight out the gates, we engage in training with, I think, in the first year, 2022, we had probably about 3 training sessions, 3 or 4 training sessions.
All members of the Assembly who were invited.
Those who could make it, yes, everybody was invited to participate. Those who showed up got the training required. We made slides and stuff available for members. It's there. Everybody has access to it. And if persons require further training, they could also, you know, make it known to the Secretariat. And that's what we're there for. We are there to provide administrative support as well.
And so that kind of thing will continue. Nevertheless, it was kind of important in the first early stages.
I mean,
but that kind of thing will continue.
It's always good to, because you're not going to know everything. And I think that's important to note. I have made a lot of mistakes within the last, simply because, one, I didn't know, and two, interpreting information, it's kind of it's a gray area, because you have the intent of the standing order or the law. You have the spirit of the law, where things who created it, this is what they purposed it to be, and then the actual law itself. I'm not a lawyer by training, and so we have had our mishaps along the way. Yes, nobody's perfect. So I tend to engage in a lot of training, a lot of consultations with lawyers, a lot of consultation with the Parliament. I traveled extensively this year with regards to the CPA. We went to the regional.
CPA is the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association.
Correct. So we went to the
I remember
regional.
during our time we were
You all had that as well.
Right. Yeah. Because in the beginning they said, well, we're not a parliament, you know, and so on.
And we're still
eventually they came and we invited them here, and they said, listen, as far as we see, this is a parliamentary process you're all going through, and this is an assembly.
We are observers to the national parliament, where they are delegates and we are observers. So we recently returned from Ghana in October. The contingent consisted of the Deputy Presiding Officer, the Leader of Assembly Business, and the Minority Leader. And there, at the international conference, we had no voting rights, simply because we are not a lawmaking body. So we are observers to the process, and we are observers.
And you're always invited.
And we are always invited, right? So it's things like that, exposing our members to, like, I love those types of things, because I get to learn what other jurisdictions have and what they do. I've been able to make a lot of connections between the smaller islands. The Speaker of the House for Montserrat and the Speaker of the House for Nevis and I are very good friends. If I don't understand something, I'll run it by them. Tell me what your standing order. So as a matter of fact, I made it my duty when I left Turks and Caicos for the regional conference to collect all the standing orders of all the regional members, just to do a comparative analysis to see where we could probably beef up on some things, where we could take out on some things, because as I said, our standing orders, in my estimation, is a little bit vague, right? So it's
and it left too much to some of the things.
Yes,
left
too much
for the
wonder.
national parliament.
Exactly.
You don't have to refer to the national parliament, and sometimes it may not be appropriate, you know.
Correct.
So you collect all these standing orders, and what will happen now? I mean, that is a fantastic start to make such comparisons and so on.
I hope I have enough time to go through, to kind of comb through all of the standing orders and literally just see what's similar, what's different, and how we could probably incorporate it if this is based on the jurisdiction or if this is an overarching thing as it pertains to the Commonwealth itself. I read Erskine and May religiously. I also read a book from the Australian Parliament because theirs is the second to the UK Parliament. Their parliamentary system is one of the best parliamentary systems.
That book is done by who?
I would get the name for you.
Oh, okay.
I would get the name, but it sits on my desk. So,
because I always follow these authors and sometime and just try to see what they're doing.
Erskine May, when I got in, everybody told me that's the parliamentary Bible. So I take my time and I comb through it, and you could see where some things definitely exist, and you can see where there are other things that probably is because we are a small jurisdiction and never know. People just felt that it wasn't necessary for us.
I heard about that Australian model, but I always they say it was a kind of another version of May's parliamentary practice. You know, updated because May did that a couple of decades and decades ago. You know, and
but
that
you
was
can always find good information in it.
Yeah. So how we move forward now with situation in the Tobago House of Assembly? There's special areas that you pay attention to when you're having a debate. Any particular thing, or you identify a breach in the standing order?
I often refer to my standing orders.
And you say which section?
I am aided very, very competently by my clerk and my I want to say deputy clerk, but she's not. But she's so knowledgeable about everything. One of my officers, Miss Delia O'Neill. I mean, she eats, breathes, and lives everything parliamentary. So she also guides me, and of course, where we don't ever have information, we also liaise with the National Parliament. So I have a very good working relationship with Miss Sampson. Should I say she's now the former clerk of the House, because she retired, I think, in October or September.
Thompson is her name?
Sampson, Miss Jackie Sampson.
Oh, Jackie Sampson.
Yes, by the way, she was
I don't know what to call it.
The longest serving clerk in the Commonwealth. She was clerk of the House, yes.
Yes, clerk of the House,
And then
now she's distinguished.
Yes, she is.
I think they gave her a national award.
Really?
Yeah, I think she got a national award some time ago. I said that was appropriate when I heard it.
She's a walking library.
I'm telling you. You know?
So I tend to check in with her often. So and she has been a tremendous help to us here.
You're telling me?
Yeah.
You know who was working close with her? A girl from Plymouth called. Anyway, she died while she was in the Parliament from Plymouth. I can't remember her name; just slipped me now. You know, but these folks, you know, bring such wealth of knowledge to the system and helping us here in Tobago. I should say us. You know, the parliamentary process here, the assembly procedures, and what people should do,
and not
where they could get.
To our former members of the House in Tobago here, because I reached out in the early stages of me taking up this post. I reached out to Mr. Charles, Mr. Hochoy Charles. I reached out to Mr. Beard, Mr. Max James, you know, persons who I knew personally and that could have given me, Mr. Jack, who could have given me some kind of advice where parliamentary procedures and things are concerned. So yeah, we have the wealth of information here as well, because remember that the Tobago House of Assembly is a creature of A.N.R. Robinson's mind and his working and how he thought that we should operate here in Tobago. So who best than to check in with our own members who lived it, persons like yourself who went through this whole process and, you know.
Tell me something about how you go about, what are some of the rules of the debate that people must pay attention to, especially members of the House? The general rules, some of the critical things of the debate.
Let me see if I could.
When a person starts.
Well,
first to begin,
For me, it's don't interrupt members while they're on their feet. I think I repeat that a lot, standing order 44. I think by now everybody knows standing order 44. When a member is on his feet, everybody's supposed to be quiet. Because remember, the house is an august chamber. It's an honorable place, and my members are honorable members, and they're supposed to conduct themselves with decorum, and they must be astute in their duties and all those good stuff. But sometimes, again, the nature of the beast is that sometimes things just get away, and I don't want to say it's the bacchanal. Some people like it, but we're supposed to maintain a certain level. Yeah. So I tend to use standing order 44 a lot. Imprinting improper motive. Again, you can't call people's name, and I think it's standing order 44.6. Address the name calling. You can't call members out of their designated positions. So I remember there was one time they used to call him F&F or something like that, Farley and Friends, or listen,
you can't call them those alias.
No alias.
Those political alias.
Yeah. So I tend to enforce that standing order as well.
So you can't call the person by their name.
No, you're supposed to call them by their designation. Either if they are attached to
Honorable Assemblyman, so and so.
If they're attached to a district, you call them by their title. If they're attached to a division, you could also use that as well. It's interchangeable. Or you could just call them honorable member. But keep it honorable. I think that's the key word here.
And sometimes people make comments about one another, very unfortunate comments. In the spirit of the debate, you're flowing and so on, and you're throwing something, and sometimes you have to interrupt them. And maybe retract or something.
Because remember too, all of this is recorded by Hansard. And you don't want a misrepresentation of someone being recorded. So if you're in breach, I would ask them to retract it.
Yeah. And I think they have it in there, I can't remember, but in this assembly, previous assemblies, they have this clause that makes you not liable to legal proceedings or action. I can't remember the clause, what clause they call that, or what's
There's protection in the house. Everything that is said within, similar to Parliament.
You're protected from taking legal action.
The speech.
But if someone was telling me, a legal person was telling me that, there could be some exceptions to that if you go extremely out of order with respect to that. You never heard of that?
No, but I know that parliamentary languages and speech is protected in the house.
So if you libel, if you talk somebody very bad or say ill things about persons,
I would hope not.
But the person can't take you to court, or the offending person can't take you to court. But if you say it outside, it's different.
Of the protection within the house, yes.
Yeah, so they call it the protection clause or something?
I would get the standing order for you, but I know for a fact that the parliamentary language and speech is protected in the house.
In the earlies I know it was not protected, and I know when we were doing it over, they used to call it the Jerry McFarlane clause.
You were one of those?
I was very thing, because I was getting pressure all around from my you want to do more for your community or your district, and then sometimes members of the assembly felt that Jerry wanted so much, and I was very outspoken and so on. And one of the things is that I was the youngest person in the assembly.
Right, so you have all that exuberance and
I didn't have patience with the time things taking and so on. I used to have to go through work people in the divisions. When the secretary not supporting something in another division, you want to feel coming. And I was an assistant secretary when I went in.
Wow.
So I had to be
working. So you see where things haven't changed much, right?
The thing is true. It was something else. You had to find a way, and the newspapers and the limited media you have, they always contacting me because I always have some outburst or some complaint about some people, something happening. So people felt I was too much in the media.
When we were in Turks, that was one of the things that was brought up, and one of the things that they actually carried to the international conference in Ghana is the workload of an assemblyman who also serves in a position as a secretary or an assistant secretary. It's a lot of parliamentarians are complaining about burnout and how can they serve these two positions as astutely as possible. One is to ensure that your community gets
district.
you. Yeah, I think I was listening to Assemblyman Pollard's interview with you, where he said that he had to apologize to his electoral district because he had his division to kind of sort out. And it's a real thing. It's something that happens throughout the region, and I'm guessing throughout the Commonwealth, that I don't know how they do it, how they serve both positions at the same time. You have a burnout.
It could be challenging, but I always tell every one of them when they ask me how it was done. And I did it with a bigger district, as we have now, and also we didn't have phones. I had cell phone. I had a landline only when I became a member of the assembly. Okay. They said that they were entitled to that. And afterwards, cell phone, a landline. And after that, the cell phone came in, I think in early 90s or late 80s or something like that. But we used to have to struggle. I used to fight up to get on a program on 610 radio on the evening for half an hour just to tell people something or where I'll be or what matter I'm dealing with, and so on. That, of course, used to annoy other members of the assembly. But at the same time, you had to find ways to reach out to your community. I'm saying that those days I didn't even know assistance as a member of the assembly. But now you have people, assemblymen, having assistance in the different constituencies and the group and so on, with traveling and all kind of thing, and you can't reach out to these people. I'm saying that is totally unacceptable. I tell the chief secretary that, I tell Whitey that, all these people, that is unacceptable. You can't tell me you have an office or you're entitled to certain positions of assistance in your community and you can't reach people because you hired doing your official duties as secretary or something. Find a way. A certain minister in Trinidad used to give his phone real number to one of his assistants to just make sure he respond or communication, somebody important happen, whether in parliament or what, this phone comes to the man and tell you, listen, this is a serious issue, you have to come and attend to it now, or something like that. This has to be done. You have to create the network and a system where you can respond to critical people's needs.
And I agree with you. It's all about creating something that works for you.
Yeah.
The legislature plays an important and a critical part in that because we are responsible for the electoral district offices. But you so much more can be done to help support our members.
I am saying if you just even utilize those same assistance or system that you have more appropriately, more effectively, you could have more done.
Okay, like take for instance for me, I as I said in the beginning, I'm a single mother. Last sitting, I had no one to watch my children. I was like literally no one. My kids are in school. School breaks at 2:30. They go to class for 3. I have no support where that is concerned. And I could only imagine how other members who are females, and I think the majority of our female members, some of them are single mothers as well. So as I said, it's a balancing act and it's about creating an ecosystem that works for you.
You could arrange for some reliable or confidential person to pick up the children.
You would think that it's that easy, right? But it's not something.
It's still difficult?
Yeah, it is difficult. It is.
I sometimes used to have, I used my wife to pick up children and things like that time, and so on. And eventually came a position where we had to have 2 vehicles, but that came even after. Yeah. But at the same time, you have to find a way to do these things, just you pick up children and so on, you get somebody or some good friend or relative or something, pick up your children. Sometimes they might have to go to class, you pick them up after class while you're debating in the house.
It's not as easy as it seems.
It could be a difficult thing, but I'm saying that we have enough technology right now to do some of these things. You have enough assistance around you to do some of these things. If you could just assign somebody working with you to see about to just pick up your children or something while you're having this important, carrying out this important function of the Tobago House of Assembly, you know. What is wrong with sending one of your official vehicles or one of your officers or your assistant or something, you know, or some good friend, you pay them privately to do this thing. You know, I think that these kind of things should be looked at seriously, because I find now the district is a little smaller than during my time. You have more communications than during my time. You have more available resources at your disposal to do some of these things and to stay in contact with your community. You have secretaries with more responsibility now, so that if you have a problem with somebody, I mean, a fellow in Plymouth, 2 feet off, living in an old breaking down house. You know, his wife died and his son is there trying to help. He can't go to school. And that thing going on for months. And we can't get an assemblyman, and that area is almost, that he's on the line between the two constituents and so on. We can't get somebody to deal with that after almost about a year and something. You know, these are the things that's paying me. And I just tell them like it is. You're not supposed to have that kind of thing going on. There's a guy in palliative care, I think Whitey know about it as well. You know, in real, I don't want to describe it publicly. The conditions. These things must not, you must have people out there walking every street, knowing everything about, especially those who are poor and indigent and can't help themselves.
Well, and I think this all boils down to participatory democracy and government. What you're explaining to me essentially is something that I think we could facilitate at the legislature, something that we recently, and it's what we discovered availed to us in our standing orders, is petitioning our members. So what we created at the legislature is something called an e-petition, where persons who are either disgruntled or they have an idea that they think could add to whatever we have going on here in Tobago, or a system that they think could work, they could come and they could go online and they could petition their member. And once it gets enough signature, because of course we live in a democracy, once we get enough signatures, this would go to the member in which the complaint is being forwarded to, or the suggestion is being made to. And hopefully it would make it onto the floor of the House as a debate.
I think that is an area that this assembly really needs.
But maybe you could come and help us kind of craft out something that could get the attention of the members. You never know.
We'll try and see what could work out. But some secretaries really have been so engaged in so many other things, you know.
But I want to engage you, you're a former member.
Some of the other secretaries really have me engaged. But no problem, we could work out something and could try and make some time. But we really need to do, that is an area that is, to me, needs great attention and better consideration for a more effective system in terms of representation of your community, and at the same time doing the balancing act, as you say, and performing your official duties as secretaries. Something had to be done with respect to that. I know the responsibilities on both sides is onerous, and you really have to do something to improve that. Members of the assembly, they could work out something on their own. Give people 2 or 3 phones that their assistants could have a phone. This one could have a phone in your district office. They have communication there and so on. Let these people not to sit down in offices, they walk the street and see what's happening in their constituency. And that is one of the reasons why, I should say that, I'm not talking a little too much, but the new THA, one of the recommendations of the new THA Act, that some people were saying forcefully, and I was against it, that you should have the same thing that you were talking about earlier in one of the conventions you went, that members of the assembly or representatives should divorce themselves from that and should keep those responsibilities, but don't take any official responsibilities like secretaries or ministers or so, because you want to do some work, you want to ensure that they serve the community well. I'm one of those persons that don't agree with that at all, because you don't have much resources, especially as a representative by yourself, but you have the resources to do something for your community, and you can't leave that some unelected person, you know, to be responsible for. I think they have that system in the States, you know, somewhere. be responsible for what is achieved in your community, or they have the main resources and they could do what they want with it and not paying attention to what is happening in your constituency. You must have some responsibility as a secretary or assistant secretary or something like that to ensure that your constituency or district is well served and well taken care of. Although you might have a responsibility for the entire island in a particular discipline or so, you know, but we have to put this, especially in a small community like ours. You know, Tobago, 116 square miles. You know, no, the furthest point, wherever you are, you're reaching in, I'd say, an hour. You know, and I'm saying that it's not too difficult to have people given their responsibility for the district, and at the same time, whether you're a secretary, to make sure that you have some role, responsible
so do you think
position.
That in that case, and I could converse with you because you were a former member, so you probably know the intimate parts of the law, the legislation, and how things operate. Do you think that it means that our electoral district staff needs to be a little bit more robust?
Of course.
That would mean that on our end, the legislature,
they need to get more attention.
They need to have more money
you need
and
to
stuff like that.
respond to their, you need to respond to their complaints and issues with greater, with more seriousness. You know, quite a few people having problems in their districts and they're not attending to in serious time. You know, people make a complaint, all right, people make a complaint, you take the information at the district office, you pass it on to the assemblyman. The assemblyman don't have the resources to do that now. He had to talk to some other secretary who have the resources to treat with this issue. You know, that is some of the problems that it has have. So you have, they have a situation now where you have like URP could pay some attention to some of these people with broken down houses, bad houses, and do have proper access to the place, have outside toilets and that kind of thing, no proper water tanks or anything to have them, you know, the flooring mash up and so on. The Whitey could tell you a lot of what is happening in some of these places. So we need to pay attention to that. It's not just getting a report to say Jerry McFarlane, who is a representative, and say, well, the assistants just send a report to me and just say that they put that in your office, you log it. Who is following up that? With Chief or Jerry, you know, from the assistant saying, Jerry, you know, this thing came from this person in BlackRock or something. We can't respond to it yet. You know, we need to respond to these people that are catching the tail. Some of them have no food. I mean, I am amazed some of these people I go and see from time to time, you know. I just be calling and, I don't want to say talking down, but talking seriously to some of these representatives. People from all over the place call me about some issue. A boy going to Goodwood School, the mother dead, living in Plymouth, he can't get a transfer. He cannot get a transfer to a school down here. You know, all these things should be, them is things that should be done immediately, instantly. Deal with these people in these districts who have some serious issues. And to me, that is sadly lacking. People not doing enough. I'm not saying people ain't doing much, but people not doing enough.
What
and
I
in
can
good time.
guarantee you is that I will take this information back to the House Committee and see if we could resolve it and probably beef up on the staffing at the electoral district offices.
Yeah, not even. I mean, I see some people that
that
maybe
information
they need more, you know. But you need an effective, a more effective system of complaints, feedback, and repair whatever is to be repaired or correct whatever is to be corrected. You need that feedback. People complaining, you know, not that people ain't complain and say what they want or what the issues are, but you must have a system where they complain, somebody attends to it and get back in quick time. In quick time, you know. And of course, one of the excuses, I will call it, but some people say it's not an excuse, is funds, you know. But if you could get funds to do specific things and so on, but the assemblymen, especially the secretaries, know how to get funds to do some of these special things. They know how to do it. They know how to go to the chief secretary and say, listen, we want some special fund. This is a special case. We need this. You know, the chief secretary, I know, ain't thinking on that at all. Pay attention to your communities, the indigent and those people in the community who can't make ends meet, if you know the amount of them.
And I'm hoping that when you have conversations with them, they could, you would be heard.
Yeah. So back to some of these things in the house that you should be attending to. The debate especially. You have functions. I know that in the past some of the presiding officers used to have activities in the different communities, and they were kind of apolitical. You know, of course, coming from Kelvin Charles used to do it, and somebody else I can't remember used to have something done. And anything like that planned? I know you have an ambitious plan about educating people with this education thing, which is a nice project that you're talking about, educating the people about leadership and governance and so on. Extremely important.
I think we all have this duty, and I think it stems from my history background, that let me just make a plug of why it is so important to me. I didn't learn about Tobago's history until until I got back to Tobago. It wasn't something that I learned in school. Let me just put it like that. I learned about Caribbean history, I learned about Trinidad history, I never learned about Tobago's history. And I think it's so important that we keep on seeing things and people are like, oh, wow. And I'm like, this happened already. But if you don't know, you would never understand. And I think sometimes people talk from a place of ignorance because you just don't know, right?
True.
So in order to make an informed decision, you have to be informed. And I think it's important for us to start informing our young people. Even our older heads probably need a little bit of re-education, because our history wasn't written by us, so we need a revision of what we know. We need to unlearn some things, we need to learn some things. So it's very important and it's very critical for us at the legislature to show how our legislative history is intertwined with Tobago's history, and how prominent and the prominence of the legislative history is to Tobago. And to everything that we do.
That is so important. You wouldn't believe. I think I had a discussion some years ago with Rita Pemberton.
Oh my gosh.
Is Rita?
Yes, Dr. Rita Pemberton.
Yeah, she's Tobago's historian, yeah. And that's one of the things that she wanted to do. I mean, I remember her trying to get something from Neil Wilson about Neil Wilson's life and so on, which is rich history. I don't think she eventually got through with that, you know, but she is willing to do a number of things if she have the time. Suzanne Craig have a nice story and so on.
Tobago,
but you just talk about the history of the Tobago, the new history of the new Tobago House of Assembly. You know, that is important, and I don't see anybody paying attention to that right now.
Anybody has captured
and
that.
I feel that is a major project that either Suzanne, or I'm not too sure how well Suzanne is now, Suzanne and Rita.
You're looking into my books and I don't want you in the business. Because in 2025, the legislature would be 200 years old. The building itself would be 200 years old, right? Making it the oldest functioning.
Because that is the original place where they were.
Correct. Legislature in Trinidad and Tobago, right? It's older than the Magnificent Seven, right? So the first thing when I came in, again, history, I'm like, wouldn't it be really cool if we could get a book on the legislative history of Tobago? So we started delving into that, and it's something that hopefully we could get done. When I looked at the different parts and what it would take to get us to a physical book, it's a lot of work. Because remember, our history is scattered not only over the Caribbean, it's scattered in Europe as well. We have English history, we have French history, we have Dutch history. So it's trying to collate all of that into one book. It's going to take a lot. And hopefully, if we start now, if we don't finish by 2025, probably 2026, we could have a physical book capturing and detailing our legislative history.
But I am thinking that is more, I won't say more important, the later or the modern history of the new assembly, which started in 1980. You know, some attention should be paid to that, because they have their stories, as Hotel Charles Dr. Davidson not passed,
What we
all these
started
people
doing
passed, and so on, and we never really had a sit down with some of these people who is not well right now, and maybe I hope that he recover very soon.
We have a project called the Archive Project, where we started interviewing past members of the house. It's an expensive feat to sit and talk with past members and try to house that into one. I think we would have gotten some information from Information Division as well, or department. But I keep on saying, if we don't tackle this now, we lose our history because our members
because people are
going
just
so fast.
going. I mean, Jeff Davidson had this politics, Tobago versus the PNM. Important document to give you the idea what was happening during that time before the THA came into this THA came back into being.
Even to
and so on.
I am sure that you have seen the competition for the new legislature. Downstairs of the Assembly legislature, there's a storage space that, for me, I think has all the annals from. When I was looking through, I saw something from Stanley Beard when he commissioned, or when he brought to the house the idea about the Heritage Festival. I think that was like in the 1980s. So it's important for us to archive our history and to show it and display it as organically as possible. Dr. Winston Murray, we could partner with him. It would be a dream of mine come true if we could partner with his daughter, Dr. Melita, and all the information that he has over in that building. Since he passed, he's just been locked up. And I mean, there are so many people that could contribute to this cause.
Yeah, you ought to set up something like a commission or something.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, set up a commission to just look at this and have people on that.
Mr. McFarlane, I'm going to come and work with us now. come by and work with us, because
but it's really important. When I studied in the 1980s, when the new assembly, those first 2 terms were challenging, boy. I was not the only first term, but from the second term, we met so much objections and obstacles, you know. I remember the bus couldn't pass from Plymouth to go back to Buku side and so on, because there's a place in Pleasant Prospect that the too narrow going across to the sea and all them kind of something. Going up to Palatine was another thing. After Hurricane Flora, Mount Dillon Hill washway, Mount Dillon Road washway by the hurricane. And we used to pass through another road to go down into Castara, which was narrow and kind of little treacherous. The new assembly came in and had to find a way. And the government was saying, no, you can't tackle that now because this is private people land. You have to go and get control, not control, or some commissioner surveys or somebody to acquire, and that taking a long time, and that is why all the roads in Tobago. I tell you, we at the assembly decided, listen, we're going to talk to all those landowners, let them give you verbal permission or written permission, and start the road expansion and widen the place.
You see how important that process is to the,
to the
landscape
and
of Tobago?
the government that day was saying, you're breaking the law, you're not supposed to spend money on private land and all kind of crap.
That is what we're trying to capture.
That is the kind of thing, that is the kind of initiative and the determination, whether we break the law or not, we were doing it for the people's good. No money wasn't going in nobody's pocket. No personal money or no bribe or nothing like that. You're doing it for people's good. We talked to a man in Pleasant Prospect and said, listen, let me pass the road through your place. James, I think the man name, I'm not too sure if he's alive still. You know, because buses couldn't pass. We had to pass on the edge of the cliff to go down to Mount Irving from Blackrock, from Plymouth. On the edge of the cliff in Blackrock going up to Mount Pleasant Prospect.
Some people wouldn't understand what
they wouldn't understand what we went through.
Because we don't have it written anywhere.
I'm telling you.
That is important for us.
Very important. All these struggles, you know, and boy, look. Anyway, we have a lot more to talk. Abby, I really appreciate you coming. And we're having this kind of dialogue and this discussion, you know, but I feel it could establish some commission or something to look at the history of the THA. And maybe the first step should be look at the last 40 years, maybe. And then after that, you have other people working on the other part, because that will take a lot more research than this last 40 years. You know, so I'd be happy to give me ideas or so. I mean, other members of the assembly have me busy.
We are so appreciative of all the support that we have been getting from past members, the ideas of how to move the legislature forward. I mean, we have this brand new legislature on the horizon. Hopefully it could be finished in time.
The building you're talking about.
The building could be finished in time for our 200th celebration. I mean, we appreciate your work so much. The steps that you all would have made to ensure that we can now run. But for me, it's important to document it.
Yeah.
It's important for my generation
and remember,
only.
part of the documentation is digitization.
Correct. And we have already started.
Taking all those old files and all those old tapes and all those documents.
I think the legislature is probably the first institution within the THA that started. So we have hit the ground running with our digitization project.
All those debates and so on too.
All our Hansard and stuff. You could find some of them even online right now on our website. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's good because that is a first step. But you could have that for generations instead of having it on these documents and these files
But it's still important. Paper is still important.
Yes, as much as you could.
I love manuscripts and I love to feel paper, and I think there's a lot of people like that, but it's also important to preserve them in a different way.
Yeah. All right, well, I think this has done it for us today. I mean, yes, I talk too much, right?
No. Healthy conversation. I appreciate this.
Well, I'm sure people are happy to see you and to chat with you and to see where you came from and the kind of person you are. I'm learning that for the first time, and I'm feeling proud to know that I think it's your grandfather, Smart, who passed away some time now, and he was one of the persons that was taking me around when I just entered politics. Mary Hill and all these people up close to Back Hill, he would come and walk with me and another guy, and so on. Must remember the Smart family for that. So you come from good heritage.
Yes. Proper stock.
So Abby, thanks again, and we'll continue chatting. And I'm a phone call away, and anything I can do, I can really help. I really want, when the chief secretary talk about being the best island on the planet, that is what must drive people in this place. We must take this not as a political thing, but all of us must be on board. We want to be proud to know that we are the best little island on the planet. Agreed. And there are a number of things. It's not the politicians to do that, It's we, the ordinary people, the school children. Ordinary people must push for that and demand whatever is required for all of us to feel proud when we reach that stage, or even for the dream to be the best little island on the planet. Agreed. That is what must drive everybody, non-politically. Let us be the best little island on the planet. We have to change the attitude. I did with a secretary yesterday, and she said she should abolish the public service. She felt it was so not performing as it should. I'm saying it calls for serious reform of the public service. It's serious reform of our thinking of the average citizen on this island. We really need to push the place forward. A lot of things. Everybody had to be on board with this one main drive and mantra to be the best little island on the planet. So it calls for a lot of work.
It is.
A lot of planning, a lot of commitment. And of course, funding is required, but UNESCO and all these people are interested in doing the kind of history recording and that sort of thing. We could tap on them. Thanks again.
Thanks.
Have a blessed day.
I will, you too.
All right, good. Folks, brings us to the end of the program this morning. Very healthy discussion with Abby Taylor, presiding officer of the Tobago House of Assembly, and taking steps to really move this island forward in her way with the responsibilities that she has. See you tomorrow. Who we have tomorrow? I think it's Sertika. Sertika Williams. Yes, that's right. Sertika Williams or tomorrow. I wonder if she come here and behave herself and then let me talk like how the Prime Minister let's talk about her.
Well behaved.
As the Prime Minister, anyway, let me leave that alone. Sertika, looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a lovely day, Abby, and we chat again. See you tomorrow, God's willing, viewers.
Tobago updates.